Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. Shubha Vijaya to all of you. Happy Vijayadashami. Now, as usual, we will meditate for 5 minutes. There's only one person new. So what we try to do is, we try to visualize a space in the space of the heart, not this heart, but here somewhere. This is called the spiritual heart. A luminous being, that is your being. What's your name? Santosh. So it's half the problem is taken care of. You are already Santosh. What is the meaning of the word Santosh? Huh? It is actually, Sanskrit is a wonderful language. If you know the root is tush. Tush means satisfaction, joy, contentment, etc. So tosha, tush, in one kind of declination it becomes tosha, and then san is the prefix. San means samyak rupena, means completely. So santosha means one who is completely satisfied, completely content. So because you're completely content, it is easy for you to meditate. So you just sit straight, loosen your limbs, close your eyes and try to withdraw your senses from the external disturbances, and visualize a space in the heart where you are luminous, that is full of light, personality is there, pure personality, and try to meditate on that. If you have been initiated into any mantra, you can repeat that, or you can just repeat Om, mentally of course. I will chant Om, you start, and after 5 minutes I will again chant Om, then we can all slowly open our eyes. We were studying the Katha Upanishad, which is in the form of a discourse between the Lord of Death Yama and a Brahmin boy Nachiketa. We had started the third canto of the second chapter, but again we will start from there itself because we had a gap of 3 weeks. So as I said, Shubha Vijaya or Happy Vijayadashami, though belated, the whole idea of Vijaya, in Sanskrit Vijaya means Jaya, means victory. V means again, it's a prefix which means Vishesha Rupena, means specific victory. Sanskrit, as I have been telling you many times, like the other classical languages, which are the Greek and Latin, there are only very few classical languages in this world. Every word in these languages are traced to a particular root. There are suffixes or prefixes added to these roots, and these roots are conjugated in different tenses and different persons. People who are aware of languages like German or French or Spanish, they will know that there are different conjugations for the same word. For example, in Spanish, the word for talking is hablar, to talk. So you have hablo, habla, hablas, like that. So similarly in Sanskrit, any masculine word is called akaranta pullinga. Pullinga means pum linga, means masculine. tenses are there, different moods, and also it is conjugated. Some other language I don't know of. There is another number called dual. So Rama, Ramau, Ramaha. So Rama means one Rama, Ramau two Ramas, and Ramaha many Ramas. So that is how a word is conjugated. So in these languages, every word is coming from a root. It is added to a prefix, is added to that root, or a suffix is added, and then that is also conjugated. That is how you find various words. Thanks to internet, now we have different engines in internet where you can actually deconjugate a word. It was earlier very difficult for people to learn languages. Now it is very easy, and all the more, that is the reason people don't study, because they think that all the resources are at hand, so I will study, and then they never actually study. So why I was telling this is Vijaya. Vijaya means Vishesha Rupena Jaya, a very special victory. Vijaya. Dashami is the day on which this happens. That is the 10th day of the waning phase of the moon. Right? Not waning phase. What is that? Increasing.
Waxing.
No. Waxing, yes. Waxing, yes. Waxing phase of the moon. So that is Dashami. Then next is the Ekadashi, etc. So because it happens on Dashami, it is called Vijaya Dashami. What does Vijaya mean? This comes from a mythological story or a legendary story which is there in the Devi Bhagavata. What is that? You all know of that. It is there in Durga Saptashati, or it is called Durga Saptashati, Chandi, Devi Mahatmya, etc. Same thing. Same text is called. There are 700 shlokas in that, and it is called Chandi part is done. So what is that? That so many asuras, mainly Mahishasura, has been killed, slain by Durga. That is the idea. But here, what is the idea? Like today we will see, last time also we saw this imagery in the Upanishads. So earlier we saw an imagery of the chariot. So today we will see an imagery of an inverted tree, upside down tree. So this is also an imagery that Durga is killing demons. What is that imagery? The imagery is well understood if somebody can follow the mantras of Durga Puja. Across the world, Belur Math Durga Puja is watched by some lakhs of devotees. Why? Because it is common perception that other places the puja is celebrated in a very grand manner. I didn't go to any pandal, but I read in one pandal they used only books, and the whole decoration was just books. They had used books to decorate. So they spent crores of rupees, and so much of sponsors are involved to decorate. But the puja, that is the core actual thing, is not done maybe properly. So in Belur Math, what they do is, this pandal is the same traditional pandal, and also the image is the same image, but the puja is done very meticulously. And also in Doordarshan, in other channels also, they show the close-up of what is being used, etc. So many people actually use these videos to learn puja or to teach puja. So if you can follow these mantras, then you will understand how significant this imagery of the whole thing of Mahishasura Mardini, Durga killing Mahishasura. Mahishasura Mardini means one who does Mardana, means killing. Why is it significant? Because on the Vijayadashami day, what happens? Visarjana. That is, you immerse the image of Durga. But that immersion happens, that is a different part. That usually happens in the evening. But in the morning what happens? What is called Darpana Visarjana. That is, in water. All of you know what happens. But not many of us may be aware that this, when it happens, there is a mantra which is told by the priest. And what is that mantra? The Visarjana is not usually when we say goodbye to somebody. It is like in all the songs of Ram Prasad and other people, it is all told that now Durga is again sent to the person, which many jokingly say that it is all madman, that Shiva is going. So Durga is going back to Shiva's place, husband's place, Kailasha. But here, when we bid goodbye to somebody, we say that the person is going away from us. But interestingly, in the puja mantra, it is not like that. Visarjana means the person, that is mother, should reside or sit in my heart. Sit in my heart. That is the whole idea of Visarjana. That mother should sit in my heart. She should mingle in me. So she becomes one with me. Why is that? So here, if you understand, why is this being told so? Why should a person, that is a goddess, come and sit inside my heart? So the whole imagery, this is just an imagery of killing of Mahishasura. It is not killing of a demon as such, as much as the slaying of the demons which are there inside us. Like long time back, we saw the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Daivasura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. Daiva Asura Sampad, the qualities of Daiva, or angels, or gods you can say, and demons, Asura. Daiva Asura Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. So angels and demons are there lurking inside us. So it is our duty to remove them. There are various kinds of enumerations of these demons. Some people say that Shadripu, etc. Some people say something else. But whatever that may be, however you count, there are various kinds of problems. Death with a difference. Why death with a difference? Because actually, essentially, there is no death for the soul. There is no death for the soul. Soul does not die. So death with a difference, it is just a passing phase in the transmigratory cycle of the soul, till you understand that you are not the enjoyer, you are not the doer, you have to keep on coming to this world. In this canto also we will see one mantra where this is being told again. You have to keep on coming, punarapi maranam, punarapi jananam. And the moment you understand that you are not the doer, that will be your last birth. Till that happens, this is only a station. So from Kharagpur you go to some place, there are so many stations. However you go, there are so many stations. So this is also one station. Now you are there as a professor in IIT. Next time you come, you may be in NASA. Or we can think of better, it could be worse also. So like that, this is a station. Depending upon what you do in this life, you have this station. So death is just a passing phase in your transmigratory cycle of repeated births and deaths. The goal is to get free from this cycle. How to get free? That is by understanding that you are not the doer and you are not the enjoyer. To understand that. So how do you get free? When you sit in a train, you are not bothered about the speed of the train. Of course, unless it becomes unduly late, you are not generally bothered about the speed of the train or taken care of, what are the supplies, etc. All these things you are not bothered about. But what are you bothered about? You are bothered about just maybe, most of the people nowadays put this MP3 and then they are bothered about that only. Or they are bothered very rarely. Some people may be reading some books, which is quite rare nowadays. Or you may have somebody to chat with you, you have that chat. Or you may be Facebooking and tweeting and all that. Or you may be the good old fashioned seeing through the window and enjoying the passing scenes. That is what you are bothered about. Why? Because you know that you are not the train driver, you are not the guard, you are not the ticket examiner. Similarly, if you know that this world, as Shakespeare put it very eloquently, is just a stage and people come here and play their parts and go away. Wonderful to say, but very difficult to experience. So, if we know that this world is not my doing, this is a place where I have to just come and do what it comes. As we say, take it as it comes. Very easy to say again. So, if we know that this is for a devotee, it is easy to think that it is Ram ki ichha. This is by the will of Rama, it is happening. For a jnani or a person who wants to believe in non-dualistic truth, then this is all the manifestation of the truth which is actually Brahman, but because of ignorance it has been manifested like this. If we think like that, then it becomes easier. Then you don't get muddled up by problems. So somebody doesn't call you, immediately you switch off your phone. Why? Because this person did not call me. Switch off the phone. Make the matter worse. Maybe that person did not call because the person was ill. But instead of calling the person and finding out why did not call me, what happened to you, today the fashion is switch off the phone. I will not talk to you, etc., etc. So much of self-oriented action. Everything is mine, me, mine, myself, I, me, etc. So the whole idea of Shastra is go away from this. The whole idea of Shastra is that you should not think that you are the doer and the enjoyer. But what does today's consumerist world say? That you are the enjoyer. Because if you don't enjoy, whom will I sell to? So basically you have to enjoy. So enjoy nicely. This idea we have to think. That is why we say death with a difference. So while we are talking about death with a difference, this chapter begins with this wonderful imagery. So I will chant this mantra. You please chant it after me. Yes, we'll come to that. No, we will come to that means we will do it now. The mantra, so before mantra we will, it is not benediction, it is Shanti mantra. Because Shanti mantra is, benediction is usually when a person, Ashirvachana, that is the Sanskrit. Because when a person wants to give some blessings, so here nobody is there, I think, and nobody else is there to give blessing to also. So both people are missing. So Shanti mantra. Shanti mantra means, you know, 3 types of sufferings are there. One which we create ourselves from our mind, body, etc. Another one is which is created by the living beings. And another one is which is created by, like Phelan, this cyclone, created by God, divine people or nature. So to get free from 3 types of Shanti, we say 3 Shantis, and they are called Shanti mantras. There are so many Shanti mantras. We usually chant Sahana Bhavatu, which is the traditional Shanti mantra, which is chanted before any kind of discussion, a class-like atmosphere. So I will chant, you please follow. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now this mantra, first mantra, Urdhva Moola Avakshakha Esha Ashvatha Sanatanaha Tadeva Shukram Tad Brahma Tadeva Amritam Uchyate Tasmin Lokaha Shritaha Sarve Tadu Natyeti Kaschana. Etad Vaitad. Now we will chant once again, joining the sandhis. Urdhva Mulo Vakshakha. Eshoshvattha Sanatanaha. Tadeva Shukram Tad Brahma. Tadevamrita Muchyate. Tasmin Loka Shrita Sarve. Tadunatyeti Kaschana. Etad Vaitad. Etad Vaitad means etad, this, vai, indeed, tat, is that. So, there are, I have already told you many times, there are many statements which are called the great sentences. Sentence in Sanskrit means Vakya. Great means Maha. Mahavakya. What is a Mahavakya? The Sanskrit definition will be Jiva Brahma Aikya Pratipadaka Vakyam Mahavakyam. Means that sentence which tells you about the identity of Jiva and Brahman is called Mahavakya. A sentence which tells you the identity, Aikya means identity, oneness of Jiva and Brahman is called Mahavakya. Jiva, Brahma, Aikya, Pratipadaka Vakyam, Mahavakyam. So, in the Vedas, also in the Upanishads which form the later part of the Vedas or the cream of the Vedas, we find many sentences which give you the identity of the Jiva, individual soul, and the Brahman. It is because of ignorance that we think that somebody is sitting in somewhere in the fourth floor or in the top floor and dictating whatever we do in this world. Nothing like that. You are the Lord, says Advaita Vedanta. That means there is no Lord. Because of ignorance, you consider yourself bound. You are free. So, that is the case. So, any sentence which tells you this truth is called Mahavakya. Generally, there are 4 sentences which are supposed to be like that, but they are only representative. There are many more sentences, but from each Veda, one sentence is held to be the Mahavakya. I am Atma Brahma. That means this Atman is Brahman. Tattvamasi. That is Tat Tvam Asi. You are that. That means you are Brahman. Prajnanam Brahman. Prajnanam means consciousness, is Brahman. Prajnanam Brahma. And Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. Taken from each Veda, these are the different Vedic sentences. Mahavakya. So, when the teacher teaches the disciple, Tattvamasi, the teacher says, you are that. So the disciple understands and comes to the realization, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahma Asmi, I am Brahman. So here the colophon of this mantra, that is again it will be repeated, is Etad Vaitad. This is that. So what is this? This is the manifested universe, and that is Brahman. So what is being told here? That this manifested universe, what you see in this small auditorium, so many people are sitting, so many equipment are there, and this is what? Nothing but Brahman, which is manifested because of ignorance. So this is not separate from Brahman. Etad vai, indeed, this is that. That is what is being told. But there is an imagery. What is the imagery? Urdhva Mula, Avakshaka. So Urdhva Mula. Urdhva Mula means what? Mula means root. Urdhva means the top, above. So roots are above. Usually we see tree, roots are below. So here the root is above. Why is it? Suddenly you turn the tree up, inward, ulta, you make it inverted. You invert a tree. Why? Upside down. Why? Because it is the Upanishad's way of telling that what is superior. So the source is Brahman. From there everything comes down. When you make a chart, Say you draw a chart of the hierarchy of an organization. What do? First you say CEO, and then you say COO or CFO or whatever. And then that is the way how the chart is drawn. So the topmost person always comes in the top. So that is why this tree has been inverted or made upside down, because the source of the tree, root of the tree of this universe is what? It is Brahman. It is the ultimate reality, Brahman. So Urdhva Moola, the root is in the top. And this tree is now, from the devotee's point of view, the root is Vishnu. Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam, we saw in this Upanishad. So Vishnu, supreme, and also from the point of view of Advaita, it is, or from the point of view of a Jnani, it is Brahman. Then it comes from there, that is the unmanifested. From then it is slowly manifested, probably Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha means what? Hiranya in Sanskrit means golden, Garbha here it means egg. So just like this, all these dinosaurs coming from huge eggs. So similarly you can imagine, this is also an imagery, that whole universe is coming from an egg, huge egg, golden egg, Hiranyagarbha. Why golden? Why not platinum? Probably they did not know about platinum. Otherwise it would have been platinum egg. This is an imagery to show that the egg is not an ordinary egg. It is a very precious egg. So golden egg, Hiranyagarbha. Then from there slowly Brahma will be coming. Not Brahman, Brahma. Brahma is the person who creates. So mythology has got four, he has got four heads, etc. So like that, slowly. So it is called Vriksha. Now again Sanskrit, Vriksha. Ksha means that which dies. Vrik means, this is again a prefix used, which dies because of being cut. So Vriksha, usually this is the word used for a tree. But the definition, by definition it means anything which can be cut or which can be cut down. So you take an axe and you fell it, felling the tree. So you cut it and it falls down. That is Vriksha. So if you are going to have a tree which cannot be cut down, it cannot be called Vriksha. So Vriksha has to be something which can be cut down. So why is it used here for this Urdhva Moola Avakshaka? Why is this word used, Vriksha? Because this world has come out of ignorance, and this world can also be destroyed. This world can be destroyed. This has come from ignorance, which is beginningless. We don't know when ignorance started. So you see, this is the spiritual seer's point of view, ancient rishis' point of view, that this world started from ignorance and we don't know when it started. Ask a scientist, ask a cosmologist, physicist is sitting here, ask them and they will say, no, it is all Maharaj has got no other work. He has become this and he has tonsured his head, etc. So we come to Stephen Hawking or Roger Penrose or blah blah blah, superstring M theory and so many theories he will tell. Finally what he will tell? He will also tell the same thing in a different language. He will say that there is some black hole or something from which everything has come, but he also does not have the answer. So the source point is unknown. Am I true? Am I correct? At least in this.
Source point, there is no source point.
Okay, that's what. See, that's what I told. There is no source point. So this is the different way of telling. But the moment I say this, Richard Dawkins will come, Daniel Dennett will come, and there is a whole host of people who will come and say, oh, you are all religious people, we are all atheists and we know what you are. And if you carefully read what they are telling also the same thing, only instead of Brahman, they are telling something else. I have no problem with that. Okay, tell whatever you want. But the source is not there. How can anything come out of nothing? So something was there, but we don't know. You cannot trace. So there should be pure logic requires that there should be a point from which there should be no going backward. Otherwise, that will be a problem of a logical fallacy called infinite regress. In Sanskrit, it is called anavastha dosham. So you just go Before you, who was there? Before him, who was there? Before that, what was there? You go on and on and on, and it just goes to infinity, which cannot be. So there is some source point. You call it T, you call it X, you call it Y. Be my guest, I have no problem. So this is the point. So in spirituality, in religion, in a belief system, in a faith system, we call this Brahman. Some people call God. Some people call something. There is only one problem, and if you see, carefully study all the atheists, they always counter religions which say that God created this universe on a particular time and a particular date. That of course is not logical. So, and they have nothing to say with all the models of evolution and dissolution. Advaita Vedanta gives you a model of evolution and dissolution. Advaita Vedanta says we don't know when this universe came. It is not possible to tell. It's very simple, anadi. But it evolved, and again it will dissolve, and again evolve. That is exactly the model of science, only terminologies may differ. So, you see, Urdhva Moolam, Adashaka, Vriksha. Why Vriksha? This evolves and it dissolves also. It can be cut. This ignorance, though it is beginningless, it has got an end. It has got an end. Beginningless, but it has got an end. So, that is what it is called. And also, even when you see this ignorance, even in the span of your own lifetime, we see that there are different modifications. A body has got 6 types of modification. Yaska says in the dictionary called Nirukta. What are the 6 types of modification? Jayate. The body is born. Any body takes birth. A living being takes birth. Asti, and it comes into existence. Vardhate, grows. Viparinamate, there are different modifications in the body. Then apakshiyate, there is gradual decay in the body. Then nashyati, and then what happens? There is the destruction of the body. So these 6 modifications are there. So you always see that somebody is born, somebody is getting old age, somebody comes to age of adolescence and all, and there are so many different changes. Suddenly you start having mustache and all that, and then afterwards you become decaying, and then finally one day you die. So this is also there in the manifested. So because a thing can be cut, it is called tree. Similarly, this world, this universe is called vriksha because it can be cut, because it is not permanent, it is temporary. Then you see, also this whole world is full of illusion. It's a great magic. Not PC Sarkar type maybe, but it is a magic. Why? The world is full of illusions, optical illusions and other kinds of illusions. What is that? We have many natural phenomena which can be explained, which follow definite set of laws. Lot of natural phenomena are there, like the whole earth revolving and earth going around its own axis and all that. All kinds of these things are all following a set pattern, gravitational force, etc. But also there are so many things happening which do not follow any pattern, which are bizarre, which cannot be explained according to a particular rule. For example, this what you call Katrina, this Phelan and all that. I don't understand why people give names to cyclone. It's such a horrible thing, no? Anyway, there are logics, they want to document it, and so many things are there. We don't want to get into disaster management. Anyway, there are all so many meteorological and disaster management logic for that. I don't intend to go into that, but anyway, this kind of fail-in and all that. So they don't follow any kind of, maybe once it is happening, once you see all the satellite imagery and they say, yeah, this is the route and all that. But you can't otherwise give a particular law for that. So this also is happening. And also inside our own set given laws of nature, we find lot of illusions. What is that? you have all these kinds of general knowledge questions. No, how many triangles were there in that? And then you see that there are only so many triangles, but it appears as though there are more triangles. Then there will be two lines, and you will be asked which line is longer. Then actually it will turn out that both the lines are of the same distance, but because of the coloring or something, one appears longer. I think you are all aware of these kind of questions. And then also you have a very common phenomenon of this summer and the tar road. So you don't need to actually go to desert to find mirage. Mirage is very much there in front of you. You go on a road and this highway, Kharagpur and Kolkata, and then summer, and then you see the water is there, then you go and there is no water. So this is an illusion. Then you have a disc having all the colors of the rainbow. You just revolve that disc, rotate that disc, and it becomes white color. So many illusions. And of course in relationships also illusions are there. You think that the person will not ditch you, and that person ditches you. So that is a different kind of illusion. So many illusions, but still we think that this world is permanent, that this world will remain. That what is the greatest surprise? That everyone will die and I will remain and I will see everyone dying. I will not die. I am permanent. That is the greatest surprise. So this thing does not happen. So because there are so many things in this world which are temporary, because this world itself is temporary, that is why it is compared to a tree, which by definition is something which can be cut. Vriksha. Ksha means destroyed. Vrik means by cutting or by harming it. Also, you see, when we meet a person and the person looks very good, long back I read in Reader's Digest that why do some people appear bright before they open their mouth? So the answer was given there. It is told that because light travels faster than sound. So that is why people, before they open their mouth, so some people are requested. Another one such thing is that it is better to keep your mouth shut and let people doubt your ignorance than to open your mouth and dispel all doubts. So, like that. You see, so we see some people and they seem so profound, no? And there is a ongoing understanding that people who have got spectacles, I see many people, no offense, but spectacle means they are scholars, not necessarily. And I know one scholar, I don't want to name him, he is a chair of Hinduism in a big university and he writes on Ramakrishna Vivekananda also. And so we used to get his articles and I read his articles in Prabuddha Bharata and all that. So I had an imagery, like he will be like a senior person, and then, what does happen? That I suddenly find him on Facebook. You find everybody on Facebook nowadays. So you find him on Facebook and I send a friend request and he accepts because Swami, and then he accepts, and then I see what? He's a kind of short-statured guy, kind of something like very fat and very funny, I mean all parties and all that. I couldn't somehow reconcile my scholarly image, and he's a scholar no doubt, but he is also a very good man. So this is the thing. So we have this. Why am I saying this? We meet some people, we think they are wonderful, and when they talk we see they are hollow. They are hollow. This is the expression we use in Bengali. We say phapa. Bhitare kichui nahi. Inside there is no stuff, we say. So hollow. So this world is like a tree, but a hollow tree. It's not like those rosewood trees where you can take the wood and produce beautiful furniture. No, it is like a banana tree. What happens in banana tree? The stem is not hard. Stem is not hard. People can eat everything of a banana tree, and in fact use the leaf for eating it also. So practically everything in the banana tree is useful. So it's a banana tree. So the stem is also not hard. So this world is like that. It is like a banana tree. The stem is hollow. There is nothing. It is not something concrete, because it is because of ignorance. Brahman plus ignorance is equal to the universe. Cut the ignorance and the universe will go, and only Brahman will remain. Also, why it is told that this is hollow? Because what do you see in this world? What is very common in this world? Very vibrant in this world? Very significant, palpable in this world? What? Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, Anityam Asukham. temporariness, impermanence, and also asukham means dukkha, misery, suffering. That is what is there in this world. So, what does suffering lead to, or what is the other name of suffering? Doubt. So, everyone doubts the other person. The boss gives you some work, but the boss doubts you. Wife doubts husband, husband doubts wife. Girlfriend doubts boyfriend, boyfriend doubts girlfriend. So, the whole world is based on doubt. It is like an entire big, this KGB, it was told, legendary, that in KGB nobody believed anybody else. So everybody doubted everybody else. So there would be a spy, and there would be a spy spying the spy, like that. So behind one spy there will be 3 spies. So this was very legendary of this organization. And recently they were in news. Why? Because they discarded all the computers and they're using now typewriters, so that nothing can be leaked. So this is the thing. So like that, the whole world is like a whole set of gang of KGB spies. Nobody believes anybody else. Everybody doubts. Why? Because only a person who does not doubt who does not believe himself or herself doubts others. So we are not sure of ourselves. Atma Vishwasa. This is used in a very, very worldly sense. Self-confidence. No. Atma Vishwasa means a person who has got a concrete belief about one's own personality. We don't have. What will happen? I will lose this job. Recession will come. What will happen? I will not. The bubble bursts. Suddenly there is the .com bubble, and then the bubble will burst. So some bubble will come. It will burst. What will happen? Now this US of A gone bankrupt or will go bankrupt. What will happen? Everybody is doubtful of one's own self, and that creates problem. That is why we doubt others, because we are not sure of ourselves. So this world is full of suspicion. That is why again it is compared with a banana tree which has got a hollow stem. So to say, hollow stem. The stem is not strong. Stem is not strong. Then what happens? A person who does know this, the true nature of this world, one who can look into the stem of the world, one who can cut the banana tree and see that inside also it is only pulp, nothing strong or hard is there. You don't have hard wood in the stem of banana tree. So only a person who does analysis. The other word there are so many words for analysis. One word which is used for spiritual practice is viveka, discernment. Nitya, anitya, vastu, viveka. So I constantly analyze that what is this? Is this true? Will this stay? Will this not stay? Will it remain? Will it not remain? So I analyze. And when I cut things, dissect things and see, what do we see? Whenever you have to do something in life sciences, biology, genetics, pharmacology, anything, what you do? You catch hold of some mice. That is what. Because most of the things of human being is very closely similar to a mouse. So that is why we all like Tom and Jerry. See, this is the psychological explanation. So mice, you catch hold of mice and you kill so many mice, and then you put them into different tests, and then you go on and on 14 hours, 16 hours, you go on experimenting with mice, and finally you say that human brain is also capable. Just imagine, our brain is directly connected with the brain of the mice. No doubt why we are in this world of ignorance and claiming it to be true, because we are after all like mice. So this type of dissection we do. Dissection we do to understand the true reality. Similarly, we have to dissect this world, we have to dissect our personality, we have to do a psychological dissection. What happens when you are going to, nowadays many people go and meet the psychologists. More and more people are meeting the psychologists. So psychology has become a wonderful profession now. So you go to NIMHANS, the National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences, and get a clinical psychology license, and then you will get a lot of money, because you will be meeting a lot of people, and all you have to do is you have to just close your ears, and then they will tell some blah blah blah, you just listen. It's not exactly like that, I'm just putting it in a funny way. So psychological. What does happen there? What happens there? Somebody comes and then the psychological profile of that person is dissected. You do whatever technique you do and then you find out what that person is psychologically. So psychologically, many people who are very successful are psychologically very insecure. They are always doubtful about themselves. So similarly, we have to dissect. So when we dissect, suppose this world is a banana tree and upside down, and you dissect, you cut the stem and then see that nothing. It can be actually made into a curry, very tasty actually. Many people who have taken know Thor, no? And very, very tasty, and it is very good for all that gallbladder stone and kidney stone. If you drink the juice of this banana tree stem, the stone will go away. Whatever stone is there, it will go away. So this banana tree is full of pulp. It has got no strength. You do some Mike Tyson boxing and it will go away. So this dissection is necessary to understand what is the truth of this world and to understand that there is only ignorance. And because of ignorance there is desire. Because of desire there is action. Because of desire there is attachment, or because of attachment there is desire. Desire and attachment are almost synonymous, and it leads to action. And it leads to action, you have expectancy of result, and then you get attached to it. And if you don't get the result as you wanted, which most of the cases you don't, then you become frustrated. Then you again go to the psychologist. So this is the thing. So then you understand. And then what is the trunk? And we see here that what is the trunk? That trunk actually then it leads to different kinds of subtle bodies. This imagery is, the trunk is different kinds of subtle bodies of different creatures. So human beings, after dying, according to the Eastern philosophy, Indian philosophy, after dying, we don't have human gross body, but we have the subtle body. What is that? Our mind will be there. Our ego will be there. Antakarana. Mana, ahankara, chitta. So these things will be there. So all your experiences will be there. So these experiences will determine what is the type of birth you will take next. So it is like you don't have a profile, you don't have a job, but you have the entire CV. No? Nowadays you don't need to keep the CV printed also. You have all it in Google Docs, and whenever some naukri.com, just attach it and send it. So this whole CV is there. What is your CV? Everything. Mind. Whatever experience. You eat so much of Rasagulla, and then you will have to take another birth for eating Rasagulla. So eat Pizza Hut. For a long time we have not talked about pizza, no? Very bad. So pizza you eat and then you come back again for pizza. So this is the thing. So interestingly, there are people now who have done a scientific equivalent of this. What they have done? They have created a foundation and they have started, just like you have stem cell stored so that you can regrow vital organs using that stem cell. Though it is not such a simple process, but anyway, using that. Similarly, people have started creating what is called mind file. Mind file. All your behavior pattern, all your understanding, all your likings, disliking, everything stored in a very algorithm-like format and kept. Your photographs, your profiles, everything you kept. Even your web behavior. So that's another thing. Web behavior, how you use the internet, where do you go, etc. Everything is using artificial intelligence, created and kept in one place. And then they create a robo. They create a robot or robo, however you pronounce it, so that they create a machine which will be, actually it is a humanoid, exactly looking like you and having all these things like you. So when I am talking, there are more than 200 such humanoids in this world now. There are actually more than 200 such machines which have been modeled after some people, and they are not ordinary people, some great scientists and all, and they do exactly the same way the scientists, But the irony of the whole thing is, after 10 years, these people, these humanoids, will become much more intelligent than the original scientist. Because they don't have that decay process and their learning curve is quite high. So this is what? Like mind file. So we also have a mind file. In Advaita Vedanta we call it mana, chitta. So whatever you think, whatever you enjoy is stored there. And you have to come back again and again to take next birth till you understand that you are not the enjoyer and you are not the doer. So this is the subtle body. The trunk of this universe is the subtle body. And see, this is the seed is there, and if the seed is there and the trunk is there, you would have seen that many times there are trees where there are no leaves and suddenly again the small leaf sprouts. Or sometimes you see that a tree is felled and there is only stump, what you call a stump, but again there will be small growth offshoot from that stump. Why does that happen? Because the tree has not died. So why it happens? Because again it got some water, some kind of natural minerals, etc. So what is the water or the mineral for the tree of this universe? Desires. Desires. It is because of your desire that this universe is going. If you don't desire, there will be no universe. Because you want, this universe is there. If you don't want, this universe will not be there. As simple as that. And then what is the thing which comes out? Sprout. It is a common fashion nowadays to take that all that chana and put in sprout and eat. So that by that you get a lot of protein. So this sprout, what comes first? No? This sprout. This sprout is the senses of knowledge, jnana indriya. What are they? The sense of hearing, sense of touch, sense of smell, sense of taste, etc. So jnana indriya. These 5 senses of knowledge are the sprouts. And what are the leaves? Leaves are, you can compare this with the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. What is that? 15th chapter. Urdhva Moola Madashakam Ashvattam Prahuravyayam Chandansi Yastam Vedasa Vedavit. Chandansi Yasya Parnani. That which has got Parnani means leaves as Chandansi. Chandansi means Chanda, means any meter, poetic meter. But here it means Veda and Vedanga. Veda and Vedanga. So all these Veda, Smriti, Nyaya, etc. are the leaves. So what is the logic? See, you first create a universe. What we do in computer, you first have a problem. Then you understand that problem, you have a seed of the problem. How do you do that? You write an algorithm. That is the seed of the problem. Then basing on that seed, you have a flowchart or something. Then basing on that, you create a code. Then if that code is quite complicated, you have different modules. You make a software. And then what happens? You have made that software. Or rather, a team or a company has made that software. Suppose that company is going to sell it to somebody else. How does that person know how to use the software? The person will not know. So you need to have F1, help. You need to have this help. Now it can be an online help, it can be a CHM help, whatever help, but there should be a help. Similarly, we create this universe. But to understand this universe and to work in this universe, we need what? Knowledge. We need knowledge. We need manual. So we create Vedas. So this leaves, you see, just like a tree. What is the function of a leaf in a tree? These kind of, this imagery are all very technical, but we may think just like that somebody has thought. No, they are very scientific. A tree, how does a tree survive? Because of the leaf. Because of all that photosynthesis, blah, blah. So that is why the tree survives. Similarly, we survive in this world because of knowledge. Because of your knowledge of how to survive. Survival of the fittest. Not only by the brawn, but also by brain. Not just by sheer physical, because we have human beings, Homo sapiens sapiens, have proved that you survive better by having your brain power. You have knowledge, knowledge is power. So you know how to, earlier we didn't know how to tap what resources. Now we know, and that is why we are able to tap it better. Right? So similarly, you need knowledge, and that is why this parnani or leaves are compared to knowledge. Knowledge of Vedas, or Vedas themselves are knowledge. Smriti, Smriti like Yagyavalkya Smriti, even Mahabharata, of which Gita forms a part, is a Smriti. So you have knowledge, then you have logic, then you have instruction. And once you know, what do? You do. Knowledge leads to action. Once you know, you do. It's automatic. If you don't believe it, you can try it. You just go and tell somebody something. Any kind of knowledge. You just tell somebody that in that particular shop, you are getting good pizza. Say. That person, depending on the factor of laziness, that person will definitely go there. May not purchase, but at least do window shopping. At least see from a distance that this is what it is being available. So always knowledge leads to, particularly if you tell, for example, this particular place you get this cosmetics, or you say in this particular showroom this saree is available. So this incidence is more actually. Immediately you will find that there is. Otherwise, how do you explain that somebody is digging some place for some gold? No? Suddenly this knowledge came that so much of gold is available in some place. So suddenly digging. Or oil. Suddenly somebody knows, oh, here oil is there, digging. So always knowledge leads to action. So leaves lead to flowers. Leaves lead to flowers. So what are the flowers? They are action. They are sacrifice. In Veda it is told, Agni Hotram Juhuyat Swarga Kamaha. So Professor Somnath did not know that. After reading that or listening that, he knew. So now he is very much interested in, say, suppose, may not be interested, but suppose he is interested in, only target is Somnath. No? So, because he will not, I am now assured that he will not come back. If I tell somebody else, they may beat me. And so Professor Somnath may say, oh, so by doing this yaga, I will attain Swarga. So let me do this. Let me do this. So that will impel the person to do an action. So similarly, once you study the Vedas, you will do what? You will do a yajna, you will do a yaga, or you will do some charity. Again, for your own benefit. Or you study Katha Upanishad and then you study Viveka, Vairagya, all this should be there. Sansaram eva nissaram, jnatva jnana didrikshaha. Those who wanted, desirous of getting knowledge. Didrikshaha means desirous of seeing, wanting to see knowledge. Those people what? Sansaram eva nissaram. Understanding that this world is nissaram, useless, futile, they left this world. Sannyasins, monks. What is told about monks? Yadahareva virajet, tadahareva prabrajet. The moment you get vairagya, you leave. So it can be grihatva, vanatva, brahmacharyatva. It can be either from your brahmacharya ashrama, it can be from your household ashrama, or it can be from vanaprastha ashrama. So these things don't come like somebody decides, okay, now I will leave and tomorrow I will think, I will make a plan how to leave. It happens suddenly. It's like love, no? Love happens suddenly. Ho jata. So this is also like that. It's love. It's like love. It happens. So you study this, you read this parable of Sri Ramakrishna, where he says that the person was going for taking bath. So traditionally or usually the bong style of taking bath is you have all your, nowadays people don't do that probably, I don't know, but then you have your head oil and all that, and then you take a gamcha, that's the towel, and you are ready to go to bath, probably in a pukur or a pond. And then this wife comes and tells, Arey, you are always like you are behind me. You are henpecked, that is the word in English. You are so always coming behind me, tumi kemon acho ityadi. So how are you, etc. So you see, this wife, she was so fortunate to get a husband, but that also is a complaint. In this world, whatever you get is a complaint. So she is telling, oh, what is, I'm adding little more masala. Maybe the original parable is not like that. So she is telling. Then she says, see the other person, he had so many wives and he is leaving one by one. So this person said, Tooth, is it that? It is never like that. Usually the true renunciation is never done like that. It is not like that. You give up